Hey, how you doing? My name is Nay. For those who know me and those who don't, I ask that the Lord blesses my tongue as I tell you guys this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm driving down. I'm sorry. I'm driving in my car now, watching my car continue. I'm driving my car now, watching my car continue without me. I stand on construction work on this freeway. I'm trying to get to my car, moving and jumping throughout the construction. I look up to see that my car is on what looks like a freeway of some sort of what looks like a freeway. So I think I have to get to it. I have to get to my car. Now I'm over a cliff and I see a man, a white man. I know that he's the one that took my car and ran it over the cliff. I see that the car is white or it's a white truck, but I can't get to it. I look around to see the dirt walls and the boxes stacked against the wall on the right side. I hold on to the boxes, being careful not to fall. I'm over the cliff and see more dirt rises, and I see more dirt rises beneath me. I know that if I fall, I will kill myself if I fall. So the boxes start to slide forward. I and others fall from this part of ah I and others fall from this part of the inside of the cliff. I grab onto something holding onto the wall. I see people at the very top reaching over for me, trying to help me, but I'm trying to find my way to them. I don't know the man. I don't know why the man drove my car over the cliff or why. I know I'm stuck in this cliff, but I want out. The people are reaching out for me, and I'm trying to get to them and trying to reach for them. Now, you guys, remember I told you in one of my other videos that the Lord shows me a lot of things, and when the things come out and they actually happen, it's somewhat like that. It's not always exactly what it is, but it's somewhat like that most of the time. It happens almost exactly how the Lord showing it to me. Sometimes things may be a little different. Okay, now the reason why I'm saying this is because maybe I'm not sure if it was that morning, a couple of days later, or a week later. I can't remember. But I ended up watching the news before I was going to work, and I seen that a car had drove over the cliff. And what the news was saying was they were not sure what happened, but it was multiple people inside of that car that drove over the cliff. They assumed that the car just was out of control or whatnot, and that some people pulled over, trying to help or whatever the case was. But the car drove over the cliff and it killed. I think they said it was a mother and maybe children. I'm not sure if there was a man involved. It could have been. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was a man, I think. But they said all of them were killed. Everybody was killed. And it bothered me because the Lord had already shown me that somebody had drove over the cliff. But when they drove over the cliff, it wasn't like a freeway, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you see those dirt roads that go around and around, like till they get to the top of the mountain, or just around, period. Those kind of dirt roads on the side of a cliff. That's what it was. And they drove over that. So I guess that's what the Lord was trying to show me. But it was done intentionally, is what the Lord was basically telling me. It was done intentionally. And that bothered me when I seen it on the news. So that was another reason I stopped watching the news like I was. Because I was trying to keep up to date and mark things off as I go that the Lord was showing me. And I got to the point I was like, okay, it was getting hard to see certain things. And, because when I'm experiencing it, it's kind of odd. Now, the part when I was saying I was inside the cliff, within the cliff, once we went over the cliff, now, once going over the cliff walls on the inside, I was on that wall. Literally on that wall. And things started to fall. Like there was boxes stacked against that wall. And I'm not sure what the boxes mean. And I tried to look it up, but I really didn't have any, I really didn't find anything about the boxes, but I know they have some type of significance to something, but I'm just not sure what it was. I was holding on to the boxes, or at least trying to hold on to the boxes at one point, trying to keep from falling off the cliff, but they started sliding forward. Now, if I would have fell all the way down to the bottom of the cliff, I would have died. But I did watch the people fall over the side of the cliff, within the cliff, and they died. So that kind of bothered me because while I was in that situation, the Lord put me in that situation. It scared the mess out of me. So when you guys see certain things, I want you to know that it is important that you tell people. If you see people within dreams, or I don't know if God is just showing you guys dreams. With me, I have the dreams when I'm asleep. I see things when I'm awake. I feel certain things. But God has granted many people with certain gifts, many different gifts, in fact. But if you see something about somebody that you know, it's a warning that something's going on with that person, depending on the situation that the Lord put you in or the situation that He allowed you to see or hear. And it's important that you talk to those people. You go to those people and see what's going on. Tell them exactly what you've seen, exactly what you've seen. If they're not in that situation now, it's a possibility, a great possibility, that they will be in that situation later. So they know what to look for. You know, it's a lot of people out there who don't like people prophesying to them, and that's fine. You know, I go up there if it's something seriously that I really need to tell them. I'll just come out. Hey, what you doing? Nothing. Okay. By the way, guess what? God showed me about you. This is what He showed me. Or I'll just say, hey, God showed me this about you. And other times I give people choices. I give them the choice to choose if they want to hear it or not. And I'll say, hey, if God has a message for you, would you want to hear it? Or would you want to know? Most of the people say yes. Some people like, I don't know. And I'll say, well, you know what? God showed me something about you. And or God told me something about you. Or God wants a message relayed to you. And I'll tell them what it is. But if they say no, I may not say nothing at that moment. Or I might wait a little while. Or I'll just sneak it on in there and tell them anyway. But that's me, because if they don't know, if you don't tell the people and something happens, their blood is on your hands. That's why I'm trying to get all these prophecies out immediately. And because it's important that you know. It's important that you guys understand how this works. The way the world works is so different. And the way you see certain things are different as well. But you guys, I just need you guys to understand, if God is showing you something, if God is putting something on your heart, if something whispers to your heart and it's a little faint voice, listen. If it's something bad, you know you ain't supposed to be doing it, you know the devil's talking to you. You know the devil's talking to you. So at the end of the day, you have to be prepared for whatever it is and whatever situation comes. And if you're a person like me, who God would show me certain things, and then I would look at the news, or I would hear something on the radio confirming whatever it was he shown me, or someone tells me something that I talked to them about prior that the Lord told me or shown me. You know, sometimes it could be good things. I see blessings as well, but I also see judgment, tribulation. You know, and when I see people's sorrows, people's pain, people's suffering, you know, that bothers me, and I try to figure out a way to get around that so I can help somebody, because this world is not based on anger, fear, pain, you know, suffering. It's not based on that. It was supposed to be based on love. You know, love everybody like you love yourself. Love everybody like you love the Lord. Love everybody as the Lord loves you, because there's so much separation in the world. Politics, skin color, race, you know, it's so much. It's a mess. We have churches that are many different churches. You got Baptist, Christian, all that stuff. It's nothing more than a separation of the people, and the people are not supposed to be separated under any type of situation. But thank you, under any type of situations. But at the same time, that seems to be what's going on. So if you want to change your situation, change you. You can't change somebody else until you change you. And I'm trying to change myself. I'm a work in progress. I am a sinner. God said that there's not one in this world who has not sinned. So He said, confess with your tongue, you know. And I don't have a problem saying I am a sinner. I am still making mistakes. I am trying to correct it. I see myself backsliding at times. And I see myself backsliding often. And I got to go back and get it together, because I've noticed, if God has changed you for the better, and you tend to revert back to who you were and start doing the things that you know you should not have been doing, it comes two ways. You either, God sit you down for a little while. Let me go ahead and sit her down. Let me go ahead and sit him down for a little while. And if you still don't change and get back to what you were supposed to be and walk on your path, then you either getting sit down or you getting called in. It's only two ways you can go. God's giving you an opportunity to correct your mistakes and do something better. If you choose to continue to keep going down that road, the wrong path, then that is a choice that you made. So at the end of the day, if you get put in a situation that, hey, you just don't know. There's also those times when people die, people pass, and people say, oh, well, that's so sad, and this, that, and other. Sometimes those situations are because God sees that person suffering, hurting, going through certain things, and God is saying, you know what, I don't want them to suffer. I don't want them to hurt. I don't want them to go through certain things, and he calls them on in. And I know that you have some people that's like, oh my goodness, well, I still wanted them to be here, but you are aware that they were suffering, that they had pain every day, all day. They were becoming somebody who they couldn't even recognize themselves. Like people who have Alzheimer's. After a certain amount of time, God says, okay, it's time to come home. Because when they do start to remember something and they get a glimpse of who they used to be compared to who they are today, it hurts their heart. It bothers them, and they start to lose themselves slowly but surely. And they start to lose the people who were around them. Well, not lose the people, but they start to forget who they were. Sometimes death is a blessing so that no one has to suffer anymore. Sometimes it's a punishment as well. God is calling you home from here to be there. And depending on how you acted here, that's your consequences there. And not only that, is how you act here, you have consequences here as well. Like the Lord says in your Bible and mine as well, he says, just like your father, I chastise you too. So understand that you don't only get in trouble here on earth, you get in trouble as well within heaven. When you make it back to our Father, there's consequences for every action. Consider it cause and effect situation. So if you choose to make the best choices, you choose to help others. Choose to help others, because you can't ask somebody to do something for you that you refuse to do for somebody else. So when I try to help somebody, or when someone comes to me, no matter whatever the situation was, I will try to help them until they push too hard. And I tell them I'll be there until you push too hard and I got to move around. I got to walk away. That's who I am. But I don't mind helping others because I want to be, if I'm in that situation, I want someone to help me. Like, you want somebody to help you, but at the same time, you won't do it for somebody else. That's selfishness. That's very selfish. So don't expect the same in return if you choose to not do that for somebody else. And then you see people around here who are majority only consider themselves and they don't consider others. They put themselves in bad situation, not realizing that it affects the people around them. Everything that you do has a consequence. It could be a blessing or it could be a lesson. There's a lesson in every blessing, and there's a blessing for every lesson. Now, whether it's something you like or you don't, at the end of the day, pay attention to what you're doing and make sure that you try to make the best choices possible. And if it's not something that you can do and make the best choice possible, remember to pray to the Lord, because he's always listening and he's always watching. Always, always, always. Pray for other people. Pray for yourself. Bless other people. Bless yourself. Because I send out blessings to you guys. I bless you with everything, every good desire of your heart. Every good desire of your heart. Now, every bad desire, every bad thought that you have, I don't bless that. I bless every good desire of your heart. And if you're doing something and you say, oh, well, I'm doing this because I feel like I'm going to be blessed later. No, do this because it's what you're supposed to do. Do what you're supposed to do. Anyway, I'm finna go because I got to get ready to head out of here. I love you guys. I love you. And if someone has hurt you or done you wrong, let me be the first person to tell you I'm sorry for whatever it is. I'm sorry. If you feel that nobody loves you and you need somebody to love you, remember that you are loved. You are holy and heavenly loved. You are loved here. You are loved by the Father. He loved you before you knew that was you. And he will always love you. And I will always love you. You might be a pain in my butt and I might not like you all the time, but I'm going to always love you. Always. And so is the Lord. If somebody is sick, suffering from stress, depression, whatever the case is, and you feel like you've gone as far as you can go and you can't go any further, well, let me tell you, let me be the one to tell you, you can go further. You can go further. Just a little more and a little more and a little more. If you can't go any further than that, then ask the Lord to bless you. Ask Him to help you, guide your steps, guide your path, guide your way, guide your walk. Guide you where you need to go and you'll follow. With me, I tell the Lord all the time, you take the lead, I follow you. You take the lead, I'll follow you. Now I might stumble here and there and might go some opposite crazy ways, but lead me and let me know that you leading me, and I'll be right there with you. I'm going with you, Father. I'm going with you. I'm all in with my Father, my God. Yes, my Yahuwah Elohim and His Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Yes, I am. Because at the end of the day, I know that my Father has my best interest at heart. He does not have any bad interest for me. And if He has, I haven't seen it. Even when things are starting to fall apart around me and I say, God, I don't see nothing. I don't see a way out. I'll pray to Him and I'll talk to Him and He'll show me, hey, if something bad is coming my way, let me be the first to tell you, He will give me one of those dream visions or one of those visions or one of those something or some type of feeling to say, hey, this is coming. And then He shows me what's going to happen when it does. So I'll be like, okay, well, let me go ahead and try to revert this right now. Let me go ahead and get this corrected right now, because if something's coming, I need to move around from that. I need to stay away from that. I need to go ahead and let this person understand that, hey, this is not what you want to do, especially not with me. So understand that if someone's out there stressing, you have depression, just be advised you're not the only one. You are not the only one. I stress, I depress, and when I get that way, it gets bad. Really, 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 really bad. You know, at a point in my life, there was a time that I felt like I couldn't do anything else, and I just wanted to go. I just wanted to go. So as a child, I couldn't deal with it, and my thing was pain. I have a high tolerance for pain, a very high tolerance. So because I was not in a situation where I could physically get to certain people or physically hurt or harm certain people, I used to cut myself as a child. You know, and I realized pain made me feel better. Seriously. If I couldn't inflict pain on somebody else, I used to cut myself. So I got to a point when I grew out of that, hurting myself. Well, not really. So that's how I ended up with so many piercings and so many tattoos. So I have like 40-some tattoos. I have like 18 piercings everywhere. And I do mean everywhere. And I have tattoos everywhere. I do mean everywhere. There's not a place on my body that I don't have on my hoo-hoo. That's the only place that I don't have a tattoo on my body. And I'm an open book. So if you're going through something, hey, we going through something. We are going through something. We in it together. So I've realized that instead of hurting other people, I can pierce myself, I can tattoo myself, and that'll calm me down. But now since I've gotten with the Lord, I've realized, I'll read my Bible. If it gets too hard for me, I'll start reading the Bible. I'll listen to it on tape. Not on tape, but on YouTube. Or I'll listen to my Bible on YouTube. Or I'll read it. Or I'll pray so much. I'll pray and I talk to the Lord a lot. I talk to Him all the time, wherever I am. It don't matter. If I'm talking out loud and somebody just want to interrupt me while I'm talking, be like, oh my gosh, you talking to yourself? I'm quick to say, I'm talking to God, do you mind? I don't have a problem saying that. I haven't said it, but I'll tell them quickly, I'm talking to God, do you mind? Or if I'm talking to myself, do you mind? Because there's times where I tell people all the time, I don't argue back with me. Which that's not true, because I do argue back with me sometimes. I'll look at the mirror and just sit there and talk to myself. I'll walk around and talk to myself, and then I will argue back with myself. Me and myself don't always agree. And neither will you and the Lord always agree. You might want to do something wrong, and He'll tell you, no, stop that. I got something else for you. And you might say, well, it's not coming when I want it. It's not da-da-da. Let Him take the lead. Remove your ego. Remove you. Everything that is you from the situation, and say, Lord, I put it in your hands. I follow your lead. Like, I know there's a blessing coming for me. My Father's already told me that. So right now, all I'm doing is following His lead. So I love you guys. You have a good day. Bless others. Treat others with respect and kindness. You were supposed to love everybody like the Lord loves you. So I'm going to end this one, and you have a good day. God bless you.